morning. Ashley Corville with the Complete Mortgage Team. And this Monday, I have Mr. Logan Bowers. Welcome. He's with the Red Star team here at KW. And we are going to talk about how do I pick the best agent for me? How do I find, of all the agents here in Acadiana is the one for me? So let's talk about what's the process if somebody's looking to buy or sell a home. What's the process that they should walk through?
So this is oftentimes done on a relationship basis, and real estate is a relational business, and it's kind of like financial surgery,
right?
So if you're going to go get a big surgery done, I always think it's a best practice to interview several people. I think the same thing is true for hiring an agent. If you go to the first doctor and they're like, you definitely need heart surgery, right?
You're going to want a second opinion.
Probably a couple, right? To say, all right, do I really have to get my chest cut open?
Right.
So your house is kind of like that from a financial standpoint and a wealth standpoint. Selecting the wrong person could mean a lot of lost equity potentially that you've worked hard to build up, let's be honest.
Yeah, we talk about often, like throughout the weeks, that a person's home is often their largest asset they have.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes your only asset that you really have. A lot of people put a lot of time and money into their home versus other investment strategies. They feel more comfortable with it, and you get some like instant gratification with
Absolutely.
it. I upgrade my house, I paint it. Like you get to feel that where when you're looking to invest in retirement for later on, you don't get to touch it right now. So people put a lot of stock, like 87% of the country, their only retirement asset is their home.
Right.
Yeah, like
it's a great statistic.
Yeah, it's a huge thing, and like we don't consider that all the time. We just consider like this is where I live and I pay my bills. So if you're looking to purchase or sell the home, you want to make sure that it is a great investment for you and that you are looking to make the best financial decision. So you say interview people.
That's
like
correct.
Bring them into your world, into
Absolutely.
your home, or go into their office and ask them questions about themselves.
Yeah, about themselves. Well, first thing is you really have to just connect with the person and like them, right?
Right.
You don't really want to deal with someone in an emotional process like selling a home with someone that you just don't like. And fortunately, there's 1,500 agents in Acadiana, so there's a lot to choose from. So why would you choose one that you don't like?
Yeah.
So that for me, that's just a likability factor. Like, hey, do I like this person?
Right.
Right.
And so you may know them in your personal life. You may have been referred by a friend or family member that you trust, and you may just like find them on social media. That's where we are today. It's where a lot of people connect and interact with people now.
Absolutely.
Is social media. So do you like them? Do you think that you click? So when they come in, you have to figure out just if your values kind of match, if your attitudes match, if the way you do business match.
That's correct. Because not all agents are good matches for all sellers, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone's meant to work together. And we'll do it efficiently and harmoniously.
Right.
So that's the first thing is just like, hey, do you like them? Well, if they pass that test, right? Hey, I like them. I connect with them. I want to do business with them. Then I really would say like, all right, let's dive into, hey, do they have a track record? Like, what do the results say about them as an agent, specifically on the listing side?
Yeah.
I'll give you guys this one statistic. On average in our market, homes sell for 96% of the listed price. Okay, so list price to sold price is 96%.
Right.
So on a $200,000 home, that's an $8,000 difference.
Right.
If you select an agent that has a 99 or 100% list price to sales price, or one that has a 92% list price to sales price, that's a huge difference in equity. You're going to pay the same commission.
Right.
And you're going to get the same services, but your end result is going to be drastically different.
That's a great point. I think a lot of times when you are dealing with real estate, and like I said, it is a really personal relationship. It's very emotional. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. The emotions that come along when you're selling your home or buying a home.
Right.
Like you have to find somebody. But when you look at really the numbers is when it comes down to, especially if you're selling a home, because you want to walk into the next chapter of your life with the most money. So when it's not just about I like them, I know them, it's the numbers. And that's a great way to look at it. So you have to see the results in what they're getting for their clients. Now, I'm in this business. How would and I don't even know how to find that. So where would a client find that information?
So if the agent is worth their weight,
Yeah.
then they should bring those numbers to you. They should supply them. The numbers are actually in our MLS, so they're public knowledge for all agents. We can see what everybody's numbers is in the entire market.
Right.
So you could even have somebody give you the whole list, and you can look at every agent by connecting with an agent and say, hey, look, these are the numbers.
So you can like sort of fact check you guys.
Absolutely.
You can't just like make up a number and say, well, I've sold 99% of
that's right.
Sold price versus list pricing.
Yeah.
Like you could validate that. And if you're interviewing 3 or 5 people and it comes down to 2, well, I'm going to need you to check one another.
And look, here's a simple question. Hey, what is your list price to sold price ratio?
Yeah.
If they don't know that number, like that's a sign that if they don't know the numbers of their business, like I don't know if I would trust them with the numbers of your business and your equity in your house. If they don't know their numbers, like how are they going to help you with yours?
Right.
Would be a question I would have.
Let's say that question one more time. What is your
list price to sales price ratio?
Yeah, list price to sales price ratio. So those who are kind of starting to do their research in the process, let's go ahead and write down that question. And that's one that you guys are definitely going to ask. So we're going to interview, we're going to check the results, we're going to make sure we like them. And then when somebody's, when they know friends or family in the business, what's the best way to deal with that?
Yeah, so that is a great question. It happens all the time. Most of you probably know 2 or 3 real estate agents.
Yeah.
Like just from an analytical standpoint, only one of them could be the best agent.
Right.
Right, from a number standpoint. So I would make it about business and not about family, right? Because this really protecting the equity in your home is really a business decision for you. And you want to protect that money, protect that equity. So that becomes an easier conversation.
Right.
And guess what? If you have a bad breakup, if you choose somebody who's not the best and they don't do a great job and you have to fire them, you don't have to see them at Christmas and it'd be all awkward because, right? But if you interview them along with the other agents that you're thinking about hiring, you're going to know for sure whether Taunt Sue is the right person or not.
Right.
You're gonna know more whether she is or she isn't by talking to more people.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have somebody that you like and you want to use, absolutely interview them.
Right.
And if you don't choose them because you think someone else is going to do a better job, they're going to understand, hey, like maybe they're going to go back and say, hey, I didn't present my value well enough because I still feel like I could have did a better job.
Right.
Right. So it's going to be a win-win.
Yeah, like they're learning, and that's hard. It's hard for us on this side. Like we put our like whole hearts into this business, right? And it's hard when like I don't win every client that comes my way, right? It happens, and I have to go back and look like, did I put my best foot forward? Was I the best choice? And they didn't see it. Like, and I know normally like who they close with at the end of it, right?
Yep.
And so like even if they got to the closing table, and I say like, I know that I do a better job than that particular person, but I obviously didn't present it well. So I have to go back and I have to replay that in my head. And it's just like, it's a great learning opportunity for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then the next time you're just better.
Look, I've lost listening to people that I thought there's no doubt that I was better than them. And sometimes statistically I was better than them. So then I have to go back and say, hey, did they not understand what I was presenting?
Right.
Or did they not just like me? But sometimes there's just no connection there.
Yeah.
So that's why I always go, first thing is, do you like them?
Right.
Do you like the person that you're talking to?
Right.
If not, it's probably not going to end well at the end of it. And do they have a record?
Yeah.
Do they have a track record? And do you think they're going to be the best for you? You don't owe it to anyone to use them. It's their job as the agent. It's my job as the agent to earn your business and your trust and your respect.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't owe it to anyone if you don't think they're going to do the best job for you. Honestly.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. Is like you do have to earn the business. You have to earn people's trust, especially with such a large asset as this is.
Absolutely.
So I think it's great information. The last thing I want to touch on is, there's some agents that are like a jack of all trades. They kind of do it all. And then there's people that focus on listings and then buyers and, are really focused. What's the benefit one way or the other on that?
Yeah, absolutely. You just get, when you have a seller specialist or a buyer specialist, you get a more specialized person, right? It's like going to a general practitioner. We're back to the doctor analogies. It's like going to a general practitioner and saying, hey, can you do heart surgery on me?
Right.
They may be able to do heart surgery on
Right.
you, and the heart surgeon is probably the better option.
Right. It's so great that you're using doctors and hearts, because we would not just freely give over, like you said, a general practitioner to cut us open in the chest with one of the most vital organs, if not the most vital organ of the body. Right. I mean, there might be a few. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. Maybe there's a few more that are higher than that. But we wouldn't just allow just anybody to do that. And so when you put it in that way, people are really mindful. They wouldn't just go to any doctor. But in real estate, it just seems so, carefree a little bit, and like they don't think about the specialties of the person that they're working with.
And it's not as common in real estate to specifically label a listing specialist or a buyer specialist. And there are agents that are more focused on one or the other. Very few agents have a just completely balanced business.
Right.
They either drift toward the listings or
Right.
they drift towards the buyers. And the more time on task,
Mm-hmm.
over time, produces an exponential result.
Right.
Right. So if someone's dealing with sellers all day long and they're talking about numbers and they're looking at the market,
Right.
they're going to know what it takes for that market
Right.
to sell the house where it needs to be priced
Right.
better than a buyer's agent who never sits down with sellers and never really looks at seller net sheets or how to
Right.
figure out a seller net sheet. And the reverse is true. I am not that great of a buying agent, right?
Right.
I can get it done. I'm okay. But I am not great at it because I don't work with buyers every day. I work with sellers every day predominantly. So, for example, somebody like Mary Beth Walsh,
Yeah.
she's a buyer specialist. She's going to do a better job with those buyers. She's going to
Right.
keep them informed. She's going to keep them on top of things. She's going to be able to give them information that I may stumble through because she just has more reps.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, and I find, and I might be completely off base on this, but when it comes to listing houses, it really comes down to the numbers, right? Like how much equity do we have? How do I capitalize the most on that to walk away with the most amount of money? We've talked about that. And a buyer's agent focuses on a little bit different, right? Is this the best fit for my family? Am I going to have all the things I need for my position now and the future to come,
Mhm.
right? What does that look like? And of course, we can't, we're not fortune tellers. We can't see the future, but you work with them and try to say like, okay, well, if we're adding a baby or 2 or 3, like what are those plans? Let's make sure this house is going to work. And if it doesn't, then we need to, they're really mindful of the future.
Absolutely.
And listing agents are sort of like right here and now, because you can't predict what it's going to look like what the market's going to look like in 6 months. What I can get you now, and buyers agents kind of see that and it's a little more emotional on a buyer side, right? Like it's where you're about to make your memories, and so to pick the best home for you in the future.
Yeah, and there's just a little bit more margin for error, right?
Yeah.
On the buyer side, if you maybe feel like you overpaid for a house a little bit, time can equalize that.
Yeah.
On
Great
the
point.
listing side, if you miss by a little bit, it
It's
could be
gone.
the difference between making the sale or not.
Right.
It could be the difference between you actually selling your house or sitting on the market for months and not being sold.
Right.
So being like the feedback is more immediate
Right.
when you are selling a house versus buying.
Yeah. That's an amazing point right there. So pick somebody who specializes. And like Logan said, not all of them specialize, but they are going to steer in one direction or the other. And make sure they're really hearing you. We talked a lot about that when Walter was on with me a couple of weeks. Like they have to hear you. If you are speaking and they are not listening to you, you're not going to end up with what you need. What's most important to you. Don't allow your agent to drive what's important to them or what they think really what is important to you. And they're going to guide you to get you there if they're really listening.
Yeah, and so I just want to give a real example
Yeah,
as we wrap
that'd be
up
great.
of the listing specialist versus somebody who's maybe a general agent.
Right.
I'm not saying always pick the listing specialist.
Right. Okay.
All of these are a group decision. If you have an agent who sells 50 houses a year
Mm-hmm.
and they deal with 25 sellers and 25 buyers,
Okay.
and you have a listing specialist who sells 5 houses a year,
Yeah.
the general person who sells 25 is a lot better choice, in my opinion, because they have more reps, even though they're
Yeah.
not specialized. So all of these things, you don't isolate one of these things and make it your sole decision maker.
Yeah.
You have to look at the whole picture of each agent and then make the decision, hey, this person I think is best in all of these categories, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think that's some amazing advice for our watchers out there. I really appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
I hope this was really helpful to you. If you have any questions, concerns, issues, reach out to Logan. You can find him on Facebook. Reach out to us here at the Complete Mortgage Team. We'll connect you with whoever you've seen on here or want to work with us, along the way, because we can match you with whoever you might see and who you feel like you might like the best. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we'll see you later.
Awesome. Y'all have a great day.
Bye.